Hey everybody, it's Clash After Dark, and tonight I am joined by Duche, co-leader of OneHive, and one of the founding members of the Fair Play community. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
Hey,
Good
no
time.
problem. Normally I want to get to know the person on the stream or the person on the other end of the mic here. So what I'm going to do is just ask you where you're at in the game and to tell us a little bit about yourself, and so we can get to know you a little better. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're at in the game.
Yeah, no problem. I am actually a brand new Town Hall 10. I pushed the button a while ago, so I have been Town Hall 10 for less than 2 weeks. So I am going through the brand new grind of getting all the camps up, getting my CC going, get my lab going. Got my spell factory done. I gemmed that. Since I was a max Town Hall 9, I popped my queen right away because I had the DE for it. So I have now a 32 queen, 30 king. All my old Town Hall 9 walls were lavas, so I got these new fancy Town Hall 10 walls. A couple of them are lavas now. Few skulls, rest are Legos at this point. So now it's just really the grind of the 9.5 to get the lab done, get those Town Hall 10 troops, so I can actually be somewhat useful in war again.
Oh, I know. Isn't that a horrible feeling when you go to 10 and you're suddenly like, oh my god, what do I do now?
Yeah, I kind of I had an idea of how I was going to do it, and it was really just a grind to get all the camps working. That was the hardest part, was, in the first days of Town Hall 10, getting all the elixir needed. What are the camps like 6.75 mil a pop?
Yeah, they're pretty
So
salty.
yeah, so it's tough to get that much, especially if you're not used to farming anymore, and then you've all of a sudden got the loot penalty for being Town Hall 10. Now you got to get all the elixir you need for it. It was a little bit of doing, but I got there.
Cool. So, what kind of? I mean, you talked about the grind of getting the elixir and stuff like that. What's your average day of Clash like? Are you playing just at home? Are you playing on breaks at work? I mean, how are you getting that elixir to upgrade?
Well, I actually don't play at all while I'm at work. I'm on the road all day. I'm an outside sales rep, so I have the ability to be on game quite a bit. I'm always on my phone, so I'm always checking GroupMe and all the other chats. And I can pop in and do my donations, but I just don't have time to raid or do anything like that. So generally, I'll wake up, I'll check everything, and I'm on a shield at that point, and my shield will get broken while I'm at work. Uh, and I'll go through my day, and I'll get home, and I'll break my shield. I'll have maybe, 4 to 7 hours once I get home to do whatever I'm going to do for war attacks or farming or anything like that. Um, but I'm generally always available in game. Uh, I wish I had time to attack while I was working. That would make life a little bit easier. But I'm pretty limited as far as when I can actually get my farming done. So when I actually have the time to farm, I hit it pretty hard. I'll do boost sessions. I'll boost a couple barracks and my spell factory and my heroes just to get things moving.
Totally understand that. Yeah, you were talking about how you were raiding right before the show, and I found that kind of funny
Yeah.
because I was like, "Oh man, I should be doing a couple raids here real quick too." So,
Yeah, I found absolutely nothing doing it too.
now, do you just have the one account, or do you have a mini?
I do have a mini, a solid Town Hall 6 with no defense. We actually, it's actually in a war right now. we've set up a scrim clan for the Fair Play community, which you might have seen some of the recaps. It was used in a war against Cold September recently. So you might see some recaps on that. And what we decided to do was to keep that clan. It's called FPC War Clan, and a bunch of us threw our minis in there to get that clan up as far as XP goes. So when we need it for future scrims, we at least have a decent level clan instead of having a level 1 clan going against a level 7 clan all the time, something like that. So minis in there right now. Just got a 6-star war. Solid Town Hall 6 stars. I love it.
Nice. Yeah, we started an event clan for the Clash Files family, and they recently were able to use that clan, and we went up against the Scotty's, the House of L, and that was a lot of fun. We had a joint group me between them and us, and the memes were just flying. It was a blast. Everybody had a really good time. So yeah, we've been trying to level that clan up. In fact, I'm leader of that event clan, and I think right now it's sitting idle because we were making sure everybody that was needed to be out was out before we fired up another war. So, Duche, you're the co-leader of a very popular war clan, OneHive. Can you briefly tell me about the clan and the clan family, and talk about the recent growth of the clan family? I mean, I see you guys are up to like what, 6 clans now?
Uh, yeah, there are currently 6 clans in the whole OneHive family. Obviously, you got OneHive 1.0, you've got OneHive 2.0, you've got OneHive Genesis, OneHive Invicta, and the 2 newest clans are OneHive Alpha and OneHive Swarm. Uh, and the way it kind of started out was, OneHive Genesis was the feeder to OneHive 1.0, and Genesis it just blew up. It grew into its own thing. So did another clan, and the same thing happened with Invicta, which is why Alpha kind of grew to where it was. So the clans have grown so much. I mean, right now, OneHive 1.0, we're basically full. I mean, we've got 50 members. So it's really grown to a point that other clans are really needed. And it's not like it's a soft 50, it's a solid 50. We don't have any filler people in there. We don't have any minis. It's solid 50 people in OneHive right now. And it's awesome because we can go out on the farm and run 45 wars, and it's an awesome time.
Yeah, I've seen some of the scrims that you guys have posted, or I've been on YouTube and stuff, and it looks like it's a lot of fun. I mean, and I couldn't imagine just pulling everybody in like that and just doing a family scrim like that. So it's got to be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, when we do our family scrims, I mean they're 50-50. I mean, and at that point, I mean we're picking people at that point. That we've got to leave so many people out. I don't even I haven't even recently checked as far as how many people are involved between the 6 families. I mean, obviously you being part of the whole Clash Files family, I mean you've got a lot of clans to pull from. So I mean you much know, if you do a family scrim, you've got to leave a lot of people out. Not everybody can be involved.
Right. Yep. So you guys have seen a lot of growth, and you've got a lot of solid members. That's got to make things easy for you as a leader, because you can count on a core group of guys to keep things running smooth if you ever need to take a little breather or something like that. So that's got to be pretty decent.
Yeah, all the leaders in OneHive, we're all pretty dedicated. We're all on a lot. And if any of us have something come up, we have to be MIA for a day or two. The rest of the guys are there to pick up the slack, and all the elders are always very active too. So there's never any there's never a gap in leadership. So there's never a point in time where somebody goes on and goes, well, what do I do now? There's somebody that can always be there to help direct traffic, so to say.
That's a good way to put it. Now, being in such a high level constant war clan can drain a person. I was in a constant war clan, and it was pretty high stress. I mean, and people got burned out with planning and trying to find time to farm and upgrade. What do you do to prevent getting burnt out on the game for yourself and for other people in the clan?
Well, that's kind of the trick there, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of the guys are on just so much between game and group me and the other chats, and we're always pretty accessible. The arranged wars help. They help break up the monotony of the regular farming and the regular farming wars. So when we start talking about an arranged war, we all get pretty hyped about it. We all start working on bases. We all start planning on how we're going to go into that arranged war. And because it's an arranged war, we know who the opponent is. So we may not know everything about them, but we have kind of a game plan going into each arranged war, and it's something we talk about and really breaks up the monotony of the farming wars. If you're just doing farming war after farming war after farming war, yeah, it's going to get boring. But on the other side of things, if you too many arranged wars or too many hardcore wars, you can get burned out on that too. Those arranged wars, they take up a lot of time. When we're doing an arranged war, everybody's on constantly helping planning, helping working attacks out. So it's a lot of work all the way around. Um, for me recently, actually, the whole FPC thing has been really good. I don't want to say distraction, but it's been a good outlet where I'm not focused 100% on arranged wars. Obviously, when we're in these arranged wars, that's all I'm about. But outside of that, having something else like this FPC is really helpful for at least for me.
So it's basically just managing how much time you're putting into the game, and trying to give yourself a break from the stuff that is just really monotonous. So that I totally understand that. I mean, if it's day in and day out of farming clans, and that you keep running up against the arranged matchups, have got to be something to look forward to. At least you're going to get a challenge.
Yeah, exactly. Doing farming wars, every once in a while we come across a challenge. Like we've had a couple of times, actually pretty recently, where we've talked to clans about setting up matchups. And like one time we were just talking to one clan, we were talking to 007 Dynasty about setting up an arranged matchup. And didn't work out. We were talking about weights and everything, and then all of a sudden we matched them randomly, completely out of the blue. And it was during the week, so it was a little bit crazy that we did that. And they had a huge Town Hall 10 advantage on us. We ended up winning, which was great, but it's just kind of funny that something like that happened. And then most recently, I know you had your recent guest, Reddit Raiders. We were looking to match up with them, and we set everything up, and we actually missed matchup. And then both searched the next war, and we randomly hit each other. And they had a few Town Hall 10s and a few 9.5s above us, but it's just one of those weird situations where, okay, we're talking to these people matching up, we miss, and then boom, there they are in front of us. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, now we're midweek on a bad timer. Okay, let's try to figure this out.
Yeah, they had mentioned that too. That they were like, we had tried to get in there and match you guys, and then they ended up catching you the very next war. It was like, and they said it was like some sort of crazy, ridiculous match time on the first one. The first clan that hit was like 30 seconds, and then the other one it took almost a half hour to hit.
Yeah, it was weird because when we did the initial search, it really was less than a minute. We're hearing that they matched with somebody. Kind of one of those weird coincidences that there was just some other random clan out there that somehow clicked with them before they hit with us.
Yeah,
Who knows how the algorithm works sometimes.
yeah, just when you think you got it figured out.
Yeah, exactly.
um, okay. Uh, now, be before I move on to the fair play community, I want to ask one question. How does OneHive deal with suspected modding in the clan since you guys are such a high profile fair play advocate?
Uh, being in one hive, obviously there's a lot of trolls out there that say that we all mod. Which I think is kind of funny. I've been accused of modding times on Jake's channels, which is absolutely hysterical if you see some of my other raids. Um, and basically, when we look at everybody's attacks, we watch all the attacks. We look at, are they planning attacks? Are they talking about their attacks? Are they active in chat? Are they active in the channels? And when there is a real suspicion of it, we have a lot of connections outside in the community that will give us legitimate information as to, is somebody potentially modding? So it's tough for us to take anybody's just random word for it because there's so many people out there that say that everybody in One Hive mods, which obviously is not the case. Um, but when we are presented with evidence of something, of course we take it very seriously and we look into it to see doing what.
That's good that you guys are proactive about a lot of that. Then,
Oh yeah, yeah, of course we have to be. I mean, we're not a don't ask, don't tell clan. You know, if there is any sort of suspicion, it's something we look into. We ask the questions. Um, so it's we're never going to just sit back and say, "Oh well, it is what it is." That's not who we are or what we do.
all right. Well, enough of the serious stuff. Let's go ahead and move on to the fun stuff. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about the Fair Play community forums and uh, who some of the founding members of the Fair Play community member clans are, and a little bit more about them.
Yeah. Well, a while back, one of the things that Jake and Powerbang and a few other guys, they were getting a lot of questions about a community getting set up. So a bunch of us got together and we created the Fair Play community. It was basically guys from, OneHive, from Wiz Honor Face, from North Remembers, Kara Heroes, War Whales, Cold September, um, and we all kind of got together and said, what can we do to create some kind of community to let all these fair play clans kind of come together and set matchups because that's what everybody wants to do is set arranged matchups. So it all started out with the Bindle chat. You can see it on Bindle, hashtag fair play community. Still there, still going strong. I want to say it's like 1,800 plus members at this point, or 1,800 plus people on that particular chat.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
huge.
want to say within the first couple days, it was over 1,000. It was when the chat first got started, it just blew up because I know Jake put out a video on it and Powerbang put up a video on it, and a bunch of us were on there and just doing nothing but accepting and then booting the trolls and accepting and booting more trolls, and it was crazy for a few days.
Now, how bad has that been as far as trolls and stuff? Have you been getting a lot of
Uh,
them on there?
well, it started off like that. There were a bunch, but it's calmed down quite a bit because, you know, when something's brand new and shiny, people wanna play with it. So now that it's been around for a little while, it's calmed down and it's gotten a little bit more serious. So people are getting their matchups, people are talking more, and we're not seeing the trolls on the chat. And then from the chat came the forum. Uh, the chat was great. It was a great starting point, and people wanted to have another way to kind of get together and make it a little bit easier match up because post something in the chat, it gets spammed out in 20 minutes. So we decided to create the forum, fairplaycommunity.net, and just give people a place where they can post what they've got and what they're looking for, and give people a shot to meet up. I mean, that's how you and I even got in touch was through the forum there. So it's there for people that anybody that wants to get in. Doesn't matter what level clan you are. Doesn't matter if you're running 10 on 10s, 15 on 15s, it's all Town Hall 7s. You can go on there and and post what you're looking for, and hopefully there's somebody there that match up with you.
Yeah, I've met quite a few people through there now, and it's a really cool site. I like it. It's very user friendly, and it
Hmm.
is, it's easy to use for anybody. I mean, you don't have to be digging through posts. Everything's right there. I like the little most recent activity thing right there in the corner that lets you know what's going on and all that good stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, it's nice. You can see what forums are active. You can see what posts you've missed. We have it broken down for Town Hall 10 heavy clans, Town Hall 9s, Town Hall 8s, and even, just mixed war clans. So,
So, I, what kind of you know future are you seeing with the whole site? I mean, obviously it's growing really fast, and I mean, is there anything that you've got in the works? I mean, is it are you trying to um,
well, we do have a couple of guys working on some functionality things for the site, a couple things, trying to pretty it up, trying to make it a little bit more user friendly. But beyond, that particular site, we're actually talking about expanding it a little bit. Not exactly sure how it's going to work out, but as I was talking to you before, I'm actually in talks right now with a couple of guys from Sweden that are fair play guys. One of the guys in OneHive he's from Sweden, and he is in contact with a lot of the high level players in Sweden, and they are interested in setting up their own fair play community. So they're kind of looking at us right now as to what kind of guidelines we set up for the fair play community. And one of the things that's kind of interesting is we're right now working on setting up a matchup through our guy in OneHive. It's kind of going to be OneHive versus Fair Play Community Sweden, which I
ooh,
think is going to be just absolutely awesome.
that would be really cool. Having a nice little international event going on there.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, these guys, you know, they're not clashers that we would normally get in touch with. But luckily, one of our guys, he knows them and he's in contact with them, and they want kind of the same community that we have set up. So we're working on setting that up right now, and hopefully we can pull that off because that's going to be an absolutely awesome event.
Yeah, that would be really cool, especially with the awesome streamers you guys have, Cheatham and I think trying to think who else you got. that streams for you guys, but
Warren 99.
yep, yeah, that was the other one. I drew a blank
Yep.
there.
Well,
So,
there's a bunch of streamers in FPC which I'm sure would love to hop into it. I know Shaggy does some streaming from Cold September. I know he was streaming that most recent Cold September versus FPC War Clan. I unfortunately didn't get to watch it. I was part of the war, but I know he was streaming part of it. I think there's a couple others too. Might be somebody from Emphatic Elite that streams. Not sure off the top of my head though.
yeah, I'm not current on who all the other streamers are, so I'm a little rusty on that. I've been out of the war streaming loop a little bit, so I'm a little rusty. So
It bounces around quite a bit.
yeah. Well, I know there for a while you had Acrazine. He was streaming for you, and I was watching him. I know he's bounced around a little bit, so I'm not sure where he's
Yeah,
at
he's
right now.
still. Yeah, I don't know where he is right now at this point. I know he was on the Bindle chat when I said we were going live. So I was jawing back and forth with him a little bit. Um, he actually streamed the end of the very first FPC war when we did FPC Heal versus FPC Rage. He actually did do. I want to say like the last 3 hours of the war. He streamed it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he was in my stream the other day and was kind of giving me some grief about somebody, and so I had to jump in his stream and tell him it was nice to see him out of his parents' basement.
Yeah, you got to give him trouble about his Dr. Pepper. I think he does nothing but drink Dr. Pepper on his stream. So
Yeah. But he's a good guy. I've talked to him a couple times, and he's really good. So he was in giving me some grief, so I figured I'd go back over and kick him a few times. So
yeah, he was actually the guy that because he was in OneHive when I first came about. He was actually the guy that accepted me into OneHive. So when I put in my application, he was the guy that responded to me and brought me in. So here it's kind of full circle, right?
yeah, yeah. He was one of the streamers when I was with Reddit Lithium, and he was streaming the war when we were in that war with him. So you said you're over 1,800 members on the Bindle uh, group. So that I can't even imagine having 1,800 people in a chat at all at once. That's got to get crazy at some time.
Uh, I wish I had time to go through all that. Pop into it every once in a while. And really, I kind of more respond to it when I'm, notified of some sort of somebody reported something for something. That's kind of fortunately the time I get in. But when I pop in there, there's always people talking about looking for matchups. So that's kind of the whole point of why it's there. We want people to look for matchups. And we want the fair play guys looking for matchups. And I think that the chat was the first step in that. And people still use the chat, and people say, "Hey, here's what I've got. Join this Bindle chat to talk to me more." And from what I've seen, it's been working out. It seems like a lot of people are getting in touch with each other,
Yeah,
and that's really the whole point of it. And it's been awesome.
I saw that quite a bit when I was in there. I had to uninstall it because I was having issues with it crashing on my phone, but I don't know if it was my phone or if it was
Yeah,
the app. So
I've
um,
heard that from a few people. I think you have to have the most up to date version of it. Really, if you don't have the most up to date version, you don't have a decent device. If you're running an old device, I guess it crashes out pretty easy.
yeah, I got an S5, which isn't the oldest, but it isn't the newest. So maybe that was the issue. So um, but yeah, I mean, you had mentioned earlier that that was kind of the stepping stone that led to the forums. That it was kind of a progression to the forums because of that, because it gave people more of an opportunity to get together and post what they had. So, um, is that right? I mean, did I get that right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, that's exactly what it was. The chat was formed, and one of the things we decided to do right off the bat was, and that kind of goes to how we kind of named it Fair Play Community, was we were talking about either calling it either Fair Play Community or Fair Play League. And we decided right off the bat that Fair Play League would be a bad idea because Fair Play League would involve some sort of ranking system. And one of the things that we really wanted to avoid was any sort of ranking system. Ranking system then leads to drama, then leads to people fighting to get higher up the list, and it just leads to a whole bunch of bad things. We did not want that sort of thing. What we wanted to do was encourage fair play matchups. Comes down to it, any of us that are part of the fair play community would much rather have the red line from a arranged matchup with another high quality fair play clan than trying to cheat whatever way we can up some sort of BS list like the TWC list. So we didn't want the rankings. We didn't want the leagues. We just wanted a fun community where people can match up and have a good time. No outside drama, no ranking drama. Just have fun in a community and get good fair play wars.
So it sounds like the whole reasoning behind that is a lot like I was talking with Reddit Raiders last week, and they said they were more in it for the competition. It wasn't about the winning or the losing. It was just about playing the game and having fun and doing your best and seeing where you really testing yourself more or less, because they were wanting to just be the best they could be, and whether that meant they were ranked, they said they didn't want to be ranked either, so they didn't care whether they were first or they were 250th. They just wanted to go out and have a good time and have a good war.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole part of it. When I want to say we were actually we weren't even on the whole TWC list until we warred against FYSB and we beat FYSB, and then all of a sudden, we wake up the next morning, we're on the TWC list, and we're like, okay, well that's great, we're on the TWC list. What do we care about that? Then all of a sudden, all the other clans that are on that fun TWC list decided we were a target. And that kind of came to a head most recently when we were hunted by Sitaquis. Uh, Even before that, we were talking about asking to be removed from the TWC list because we didn't want to deal with that. Yes, that was whatever that is. Uh, so so yeah, we got hunted by Sitaquis, and at the end of the day, would much prefer. We don't mind getting a red line in our warlock. We're facing a fun, competitive, fair play clan.
Yeah,
There's no other way to put it.
yeah,
When it comes the farming wars, when it comes down to it, when we get some farming war, we're gonna win. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We get some random matchup, we're gonna beat pretty much anybody that comes in our way. So a lot of the times it's pretty boring with farming wars. Um, I mean, we're either gonna get a huge Town Hall 10 disadvantage, or we're gonna get somebody with bad bases, and it's gonna be just kind of a steamroll. So we're always looking for these matchups and you know what? If we lose a fair play matchup, we lose a fair play matchup. We have more fun doing that than we do rolling over some go wipe clan.
yeah. Um, Speaking of awesome matches, Reddit Raiders was just really spoke very highly of OneHive when about the match they had with you guys, and they were really impressed, and they had mentioned several times that they hope to catch you again when it's a little more of an even matchup, when there's not a disadvantage to you guys for Town Hall 10 or something. So they
Yeah,
spoke very highly of that match. What
I
was
hope so. I mean, it really was a great match. I mean, yes, they had a Town Hall 10 advantage. Um, but they had some great bases. They had some awesome attackers. They have some awesome Town Hall 10 attackers too, which these types of wars comes down to the Town Hall 10 attackers. You expect all the nines to get cleared. So they have guys that are capable of three-starring Town Hall 10s. That's where that's where you win the war in these higher level fair play wars. They had a few guys that ran some awesome Town Hall 10 attacks. And yeah, I would love to match up against them, even numbers. Um, they did have the advantage that they could run a few bully attacks on us that we didn't have the advantage to do. So we had to drop a few tens to take out some of the 9.5s, which limited our Town Hall 10 three-star attempts. But at the end of the day, they ran some awesome Town Hall 10 attacks, and props to them. They are a great clan. They're a solid clan. They strategize well. They knew what they were doing going into the war, and they didn't slack around. They did what they needed to do, and they did it well. So props to them, and I really do hope that we can match up again in the future on an even playing field and really slug it out.
yeah, like I said, they were really hoping to catch you guys again. So they said they had a blast. Um, and Various, he said that was kind of his pinnacle. He had watched a lot of OneHive videos and stuff like that, and to him that was kind of his Super Bowl, matchup there. So he said he said he was sending pictures to his ex girlfriend or whatever that had complained about him watching YouTube in bed, watching Jake and stuff. So
Oh, geez. All right. I won't forward that to Jake. All right. That might creep him out a little bit.
you know what? That'd probably make him feel a little better. So shout out to Jake. Hope you feel better.
Yeah, yeah, buddy. Get over what's ailing you, buddy.
Yeah, the Town Hall Nines need you, man. Come on back so you can make some more videos.
Yeah, he's always gonna make videos. He's just gonna sound like crap for a few of them.
All right. So, uh, when someone wants to be part of this fair play community, what kind of process is there to become part of it? Is there a verification process? Do you have to fill out an application? I mean, what goes into a clan saying, "Hey, I want to be part of this community as well"?
Well, it's pretty simple. They just go to fairplaycommunity.net, and there is an application process, and the application process is all of like 3 lines. We all we ask for is your in-game name, your clan tag, and your clan name, and then a small description of why you want to be part of the Fair Play community. And the reason we ask for this instead of just being an open forum is we want to make sure that people are part of a clan, first off. This forum is not a recruitment forum. It's, don't want the posts of, hey, I'm a Town Hall 8 that can 3-star every third war or something like that. Please accept me. We don't want that within the community. What we're looking for is clans that are looking to match up, that are looking for fair play matchups. And there's been a couple instances already where there have been people that have joined the forum that we have learned are less than clean. And we've gone ahead and we've removed them from the forum. We've removed their posts, and we're going the steps that we need to go to make sure that the forum stays clean. That if you are going to talk to somebody on the Fair Play Community forum, that they're going to be a clan that meets sort of the what we expect the Fair Play clan to be. That they're not going to be using third-party applications. They're not going to be spying. They're not going to be hunting. They're not going to be dishonorable. They're going to be a clan that you meet up with and you say, "Hey, let's talk about this," and they're friendly and you have a great war, and then at the end of the war you say, "Hey, that was awesome. Thanks for doing it." It's we don't want to see anything childish on the forum. We don't want to see, people trolling. We don't want to see people hunting or do anything like that. Every experience that we've had so far with all of the clans through the Fair Play community, and even at OneHive, we obviously know a lot of the higher level Fair Play clans, but we've met a lot of other Fair Play clans through the forum that we never knew about, that we were in talks with about setting up matches. So, there's clans out there that people don't know about, and we encourage all of them to come to this forum and join and talk to us and make some fun matchups.
Yeah, that was one thing. You kind of get set in your own little world in Clash, and you kind of forget about all the other people that are out there that maybe don't have the media coverage or don't have the Twitch streams or Twitter posts or whatever you're talking. However, people find out about you, that there is a really large community out there of people that want to play the game fair and that are really good. That it just don't have a way of contacting each other, and that's why I think the forums is really a good idea. For
Exactly. I mean, there's been, I want to say, off the top of my head, 3 or 4 clans that we have we are talking with right now about setting up matchups that until this forum was created, we never knew they existed. And we wouldn't know they would have existed unless we found them in some sort of random matchup. So it's already starting to connect people. It's I don't want to make it sound selfish, like it's all about us and all the high level people that are in the Fair Play community. Encourage any clans that are, all Town Hall 8s. Get in there because there are a bunch of clans in there that are all Town Hall 8s. Looking for matchups. There's clans that are lower level 9s in Town Hall 8s that are looking for matchups, that are Fair Play guys that get on there and talk to each other and start setting up matchups. I mean, every matchup that you talk about and everybody that talks about randomly matching a good clan, they have more fun doing that every single time than they do some random war. So does it take some effort to match up? Yes, absolutely it does. At the end of the day, is it much more rewarding than the button and coming across, the Farm War Alliance? Absolutely it is.
And
that is a thing. The Farm War Alliance is a thing.
Yes, I know. I've gotten trolled by them on the Reddit. So
they actually trolled you about that?
They had posted something about we had gone up against one of their clans. Shortly, it was when I was still with Reddit Lithium, and we asked them to put some bases out so we could at least practice, and they said okay, and last minute they switched back to their farm bases, and so our guys switched their bases back, and they said we screwed them.
I don't blame you.
And we're like, well, if you're not gonna put bases out, then we're not gonna leave our top town halls out. So they were a little salty, and they had posted something. I guess they matched up with you guys like a week later or something. So
was that
Shadow posted on that?
Yeah, well, there was one. There's been a few of them. There was one that I remember when Shadow was around. He went over and negotiated with them. There was one more recently that I went over and negotiated with them, and I remember I gave them a bunch of Town Hall 10 bases because they actually had Group Me, which I was a little surprised to find out. So I gave them a bunch of Town Hall 10 bases. I gave them a bunch of Town Hall 9 bases. Said, look, you guys set up these bases. do what you want. We'll set up the top bases. And I think a couple hours before war started, they had nothing set up. So I messaged the guy and I said, "Hey, what's going on?" He goes, "Oh, we're gonna put up the war bases that we've made." Well, all right, no offense, but any war base you made, we're gonna absolutely destroy it. That's not practice to us. That we don't want that because that's just as bad as your farming base. So, please just put up some of the bases we gave you. And they didn't put up any of those bases, but no, we didn't give them everything they wanted anyway. We had, I think, the top two town halls out. Other than that, the rest were just our normal bases. But what are you gonna do? You've got to try.
Yeah,
Right?
you go
You
over there,
go
you
over.
try to make them happy, and they just don't want to meet you halfway. So
Yeah, they don't want to be bothered. I mean, yeah, you can screw them at the end and pull everything inside, but who wins what really?
yeah,
Is it worth the headache? It's
is it
no,
worth the 2 days wasted?
that's the thing. It's just 2 days wasted of war that we could have been doing something else.
Yep. Well, and before we got on a topic of war farmers, you mentioned that the forums isn't just for the big war clans, the big name war clans, or the big Town Hall 10 heavy clans. It's also for the Town Hall 8 clans and the Town Hall 9 clans that are wanting to match up. So, um, I guess my question would be, uh, why would they want? I mean, there's a lot of communities out there right now that are promoting, matchups and stuff like that, like Reddit War Clan System and the RA Reddit Alliance clans. What makes your group a little different?
Um, Big difference. I mean, I honestly don't know a heck of a lot about the War Clan Alliance and some of the other Fair Play alliances out there, but it's not really an alliance, so to say. It's not like every clan that's part of the Fair Play community is aligned with each other. It's a place where any clan of any level of any town hall mix can come together. So there's no requirements as far as, you've got to have X number of Town Hall 10s, X number of Town Hall 9s, or bind hero levels or anything like that. You would love to see Town Hall 7 matchups, a 20 versus 20 all Town Hall 7s. I would love to see a fair play matchup like that get matched up. Uh, it, just because it's more fun than anything else that they would normally come across. But obviously, Town Hall 7s, I can't imagine anybody doing anything shady at Town Hall 7, but you never know these days. Um, but really, it's about the community having a place to match up without any drama. There's no requirements to be there. If you want to match up with somebody, it's up to you to figure out if you want to match up with somebody. So
Yeah.
it's very open from that sort of thing. There, like I said, there are no real town hall requirements or player requirements to be part of it.
Yeah, I, I don't know. It just seems like it would it would be. Somebody asked me a question in chat, and I kind of got distracted here. So,
Yeah, I'm watching the chat right now, and I'm just seeing Dr. J Murda not shutting up here.
and I'm seeing Grumpy Troll asking me a question about Supercell getting ready to put a stop to modding, and that just got my
Yeah, well,
brain
good luck with
totally
that.
derailed with that. So,
Yeah, I see that line too. I mean, I don't know what Supercell could do.
yeah. But I like the idea that you don't have a ranking in the fair play community, just because anybody can say they're fair play, and you
Yeah,
know
exactly.
do whatever to cheat. So,
Well,
I
and that really that was one
User
of the
joined your channel.
that was one of the biggest things we talked about right from the start.
User left
Uh,
your channel.
when we started this whole thing was, do we make a league? Because people were talking about, wanting some sort of ranking. Who's the best fair play clan? And we said we took a step back and said, you know what, this is not a good idea. Because if you create some sort of ranking system, then you're going to create the competition that's going to lead to the TWC list. And that's the last thing we wanted to do. And since we made that decision and we've gotten the clans together and got a chat where a lot of us talk, and it's I think almost everybody in that chat can agree it's probably the best chat any of us are in. We can sit there and say, hey, I'm all of a sudden, a matchup fell through. Anybody got, 35 guys that can match up this weekend? And we've a couple of times we've made matches just on the fly in less than 24 hours because
Wow.
something fell through.
That,
Yeah,
that that's pretty cool.
and even on the other end of things, we're trying to match with somebody else and say, hey, we're short this. Does anybody have, an 87 weight Town Hall 10 to spare? Somebody will jump up and say, hey, yeah, I got somebody that I can send your way to make your matchup work. And they're there in a couple hours, and we've got our matchup. So community really is a community. I mean, everybody is just so friendly, and we have such a great time talking to each other and talking crap when we get our matchups, and you know, we've got a matchup coming up soon. Yeah, I'll spoil it. Why not? We've got a matchup. We're going to rematch with North Remembers soon,
Nice.
and the trash talk that is going on right now is just it's just primo right now.
You know what?
But
And
but it's all in good fun.
that's the thing. When it's all in good fun and and everybody knows that, that makes, no matter what the results of the war are, that's what makes it so much more fun. We just had the recent matchup. The Clash Files family matched up with House of L, and
Hmm?
we had a joint chat group on GroupMe, and the memes were just flying left and right, and it was so much fun just watching both sides talk trash. And at the end of the day, I think it was 4 or 5 stars separated us at the end, but it could have went either way up until the final hour, and it was just a lot of fun. And shout out to House of L. They were really fun and really tough matchups, so um, we had a lot of fun with them. So I totally understand where you're coming from with the North Remembers chat, smack talking and all that stuff. So yeah, that makes it a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it, when especially in a rematch with the clan that we faced before that we have a great relationship with. It's just so much more fun. I wish the matchup versus House of L would have worked out. Obviously, that's something we got to look at in the future here. Um, I guess you guys got to beef up a little bit at Town Hall 9 here. What's going on?
I'm sure they're working on it, because them guys seem to have their stuff together. I mean, they had a couple real heavy nines that just went up to 10. So I don't know how many they had, but um, I'm sure they've got nines coming up through the pipe.
Yeah, I know. Listening to Scotty's podcast, I know part of the issue was the 9.5s, where he thought that we don't allow 9.5s in our matchups. That's not the case. At that point in time when we were talking about that matchup, we didn't have any 9.5s. We talked earlier about the issue we've had matching 9.5s, where they don't, if we make an agreement for them to act as nines, they don't follow it or anything like that. So we kind of decided at that point that we're only going to match 9.5s if we have the 9.5s to match them. So now we actually have a few 9.5s, myself included, for whatever idiotic reason I decided to do that. Um, which I know LB's in the chat, and he's probably going to give me crap for it. Uh, but yeah, we've got the 9.5s now, so hopefully, there's some point in the future we can match up with you guys and get something working.
Yeah, and I'm sure I see Nat in the chat.
There's
She's
Halligan. We're working on it.
so
I see
yeah,
that.
definitely. They definitely would like to make that happen. So, like I said, we like to have a lot of fun. So.
There's LP. Yeah, me never. Yeah, sure. LP. Yeah, you didn't give me crap about going up. Sure.
And hey, thanks to all the people that showed up in chat. It's you're actually distracting me because I'm not used to seeing it scroll through so much. So, shout out to you guys.
Lot of FPC guys in here. I mean, I'm seeing guys. We got North 3 members in the house. We got War Whales in the house. We got War and Glory. I see JP Snipe in there.
Well,
LB's
let's
in
not
there.
forget the
Shaggy from Cold September.
let's not forget the OneHive guys. I mean, you got the clan representing there as well.
Yeah, I see. Obviously, LB's in the chat there. So yeah, there's a lot of guys in the chat from FPC here. So it's great to see everybody. I see OneHive Swarm in the house there. So Real Deals from Cold September's in the house. There's a lot of guys here. Dr. J Murda all of a sudden went quiet. I don't know if he got drunk and fell asleep. He might have. He might be playing frisbee golf or something like that. We're not sure.
Somebody didn't want to make a new Twitch for Clash.
Gotta say, you gotta get this thing reassigned. It took me a while to find it tonight. I don't know why. It's under Real Talk or something like that.
I did it under Gaming
What's
Talk.
going on?
I put it under there because it's more of a talk show. So I had it under Clash, and I had more people showing up asking for base reviews than I did actually wanting to come in and talk about anything. So
all right. When we first went live, I'm sitting here in front of my tablet trying to find the damn thing. I'm searching Clash of Clans. I can't find it. It probably took me a good 10-15 minutes into the show before I actually found the stream.
Yeah, like I said, I switched over that because I thought it would be more of it fits more of the talk show sort of, since I quit streaming the war replays in the background just because it was people, like I said, people were showing up wanting base reviews, and they just didn't understand that I was just showing replays in the background and stuff. So, and it when I'm trying to interact with you, the guest, in the chat, it's kind of hard to fumble around with blue stacks or have anything going in the background that I could keep. I've streamed before. I mean, streaming war is one thing, but when you're trying to interact with somebody, you kind of want to give them your full attention. So,
oh yeah, absolutely.
So the category was just because I got tired of people coming in asking for base reviews.
Well, that's kind of the world of Clash of Clans, isn't it?
Yep. Everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame on Twitch,
That's right. Hey, how do I avoid this double giant bomb? Well, don't put it next to the queen. Okay, move on.
Okay. Nah, we can't ignore the chat. Come on, that's the whole point.
No, we can't ignore the chat. Of course, it's John. John from War Whales is the biggest attention whore out there. I'm surprised he's telling us to ignore him.
LB wants a base review now, so.
Sure, you know what, LB? You go ahead and post your base. If you want, LB, I'll post the base for you. Would that help you out?
We're gonna post your war base.
Yeah, I'm gonna post it with traps, and we'll all talk about it. How's that work out?
Okay, so let's see here. What before I get myself in trouble here with the boss. So
Base reviewer Riot.
Base reviewer Gear Banger. That's one of our guys from the CFF there. So we got our guys representing in chat tonight too. So shout out to you guys. So Duche, when you're learning new attacks, I mean, you said you're going to town. You just went to Town Hall 10. So you're
I
doing
did.
the 9.5 thing right now. How are you learning new attacks?
Um,
What are you doing to learn stuff?
well, it's tough. I know a lot of the Town Hall 10 attacks have to do with some sort of Laloon if you're really going to go for 3-star. Most cases, pretty hard to hog at Town Hall 10. So I have been trying to practice some of my Laloon attacks, and I am a terrible Laloon guy. I've always been a hog guy ever since, ever since I unlocked him at Town Hall 7, I've always been hogs, 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 hogs. And then I learned Holo, and it was great, but Laloon was just never something that clicked to me. So I'm still kind of in that in between. Homo with the woo. Uh, um, still, still in that transition where I've tried to run a few Town Hall 10 3-stars against the lower bases. I mean, real crappy ones that we come across in a farm war. Uh, and I know some of the problem that I've had is the baby inferno, or not the baby inferno, the baby freeze, the little, half-second freeze spell that doesn't do anything. All of a sudden, I'm watching these max level Town Hall 10 attacks and thinking, okay, I dropped the freeze there, and I got this much time to do this, and I drop my freeze, and I look over, and it's gone, and it's like, wait a minute, what the hell just happened to my freeze spell? Uh, so I think a lot of it has to do with just getting used to new spells. Like when I've got this freeze spell now, I've got to level it up. I've pretty much decided that I'm not going to even try to use it until I've leveled it up a bit more. Um, Probably at least 2 more levels before I even really try to make it efficient. Until then, I'm just going to basically look at the tens that I try to hit as I've always looked at the tens that I've hit in the past as a 9. Hog them and, or work on getting one Inferno down and hogging my way to the second Inferno as quickly as possible and taking that out and then work on the rest of the base. Um, so, I mean, that's kind of the way I'm thinking I got to look at it. But on the other side of things, as I get my golems up and my other troops up, I need to learn how to 2-star the max Town Hall 10s to help out the clan because as a 9.5, if I have the ability to 2-star a max Town Hall 10, say one of those 7 golem 4 jump attacks, that's a huge advantage for us. So I really need to look at where I'm upgrading and how I'm going to decide to learn how to 3-star versus how I'm going to learn how to 2-star the top bases. So it's a bit of a balancing act that I'm still trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's one thing I've kind of figured out. I've just kind of realized that I've got to hit some of the bottom bases and bottom Town Hall 10 bases, and just be ready to clean up some 9s for right now. So, it like you said, it's a balancing act. Yeah, the first time I dropped the freeze spell, and it was gone. It was like, what?
Yeah.
That was it. That was
I,
it.
I remember the first time I did it, I dropped it thinking, all right, I'm going to drop it. I'm going to have time to drop these loons and these loons. All of a sudden, I drop it, and before I even drop the next loons, the free spell's gone, and the Inferno's wrecking everything. Wait, what the hell? Although, I got to say, being a brand new 9.5, I'll admit it's not a guaranteed 3-star on 9s. I want to say when we did this FPC scrim against Cold September, I did I think a 98% 2-star on my first attack. So, that those 98 percenters, they still exist even though you're 9.5. They're still there.
It's just as bad as a 98% 1-star when nothing gets to the core and gets that
Yep.
Town Hall down.
Oh, those 98 percenters they'll haunt you.
So when you were Town Hall 9, was that what was your kind of go-to attack? Were you a air guy or were you a hog guy?
Oh, I was always a hog guy. Always, always, always. I ran a couple of air attacks with help from people. People, they say, hey, dude, you can get this base with an air attack. You can do a Lala like this. Here's how you do it. And I'm looking at it like, you sure I can do this? Like, yeah, here's how you do it. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And all of a sudden I pull off a 3-star on. It's like, hey, all right, awesome plan. Good job. Thanks for helping. But when I was Town Hall 9, just looking at a Lalo, just for whatever reason, for me, the timing of dropping all the troops just never flowed for me. So I was really always a hog guy. I started getting into queen walks before I jumped up. I was practicing queen walks a lot well, I was, max Town Hall 9 with nothing else to do. So I practiced a lot of queen walks. So I've kind of learned her pathing pretty well. So I've gotten that down. But so the whole Laloon thing just I can't get the timing down. There's something about it that just messes with me.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way with hogs. I understand the pathing. I understand where I need to drop the heal spells and all that good stuff, but it's just like I just can't seem to get it. I don't get it. It's like maybe there's too much damage coming in on them at one point or something, and it's like I see hogs dying and I panic, and it's like, oh my god, what's going on?
For me, hogs have always been easier because I think hog pathing is easier to predict than loon pathing, especially when you have hounds in the mix. If you get a hound that's just somehow outside of range of an arch tower, and all of a sudden that arch tower is shooting on the loons, and it takes out those loons, it screws up the pathing of everything else. With hogs, you can pretty well predict exactly where they're going to go throughout the entire raid. But that's at Town Hall 9. Once you go to Town Hall 10, you got those fucking infernos to deal with. Sorry.
or like Reddit various from Reddit Raiders said, devil towers.
That's a good. You know what? I'll agree with that comment until I actually build them myself, and they're my savior. But yeah, they're at Town Hall 10, going up against those infernos, especially if you're going to hog attack. It's just so tough because if you don't predict your pathing just right, and all of a sudden you have a group of hogs in range of an inferno that's not on, say, a bunch of golems or something, you can't heal those hogs, and they're just going to get wrecked and never kill that inferno. So it's such a touchy game. All right. Acker Zion wants me to give him a shout out. I gave you a shout out earlier, Austin.
Yeah, you weren't here. We were ripping on you pretty good, so we gave you a shout out while we were kicking you.
I was calling you the idiot that recruited me into OneHive to begin with.
I'm sure
it's your fault. It's your fault, Austin, that I'm in OneHive. All right, you should know that, right?
Oh, okay. So, obviously, without giving away any, trade secrets from OneHive, what kind of suggestions you have for people on filling war CCs versus the poison spells? Now that you can pretty much wreck most stuff with it.
That is, well, I don't want to say you can wreck most stuff with it. It's tricky. The new poison spell makes things a lot more complicated. You can run a lot of different things in the CC now. Obviously, witches are still dead. There's no point in ever running a witch.
Yeah.
Hounds are very viable if you can build the right base. The issue with hounds is if you know it's a hound, deal with it relatively easily. Pull it away and distract it and run your attack. But somebody just goes full bore at you, you can distract a queen with a hound pretty easily, and that poison spell doesn't do a whole heck of a lot. Dragon loons, in my opinion, they're kind of dead. I personally think that something of variable speed that's a little bit tanky. I think Valks are very good right now with the poison. Valks and Wizards. And maybe even some like Barch in front of that. Maybe get them to get some of the Barch out in front. They drop the poison on the Barch. and the Valks and Wizards stay alive. They don't necessarily interact with the poison.
Yeah, that's
It's tough.
actually a
I,
good
I don't think
idea.
I don't think anybody's really gotten a foolproof down yet, and that's actually a really good thing. I think Supercell did really well with that. Uh, nobody has. It's the days of a witch, wizards, and minions are gone, where you can predict free CC because it's the only thing that worked.
Right.
Now nobody really knows what works, so it can be anything. I think that's really good for the game.
Yeah, anything I guess you can stump the offense with, I guess that helps the defender a little. At least, when everybody's planning out attacks like you guys do where you spend a little time on it and can break stuff down.
Yeah, exactly. But especially on a blind attack, if you don't know what's in there, anything this day, you can plan on dragon loons, and all of a sudden it's heavy barch or gobs, or all of a sudden you're planning on heavy barch and gobs, and it's a hound, or it's loons are bad in the CC now. If you run the two giant four loons like you did before the poison change, that's a bad CC. That will get ripped up pretty quick by a poison spell. Um, but for the most part, you can run a lot of different things and fool people on a first attack.
Yeah, well, it's the second attack you got to worry about.
Yeah, yeah.
You might
Yeah,
fool them once, you ain't gonna get them the second time.
myself, Golem and CC. We've seen that a few times. We've seen golems, we've seen P.E.K.K.A.s, we've seen a lot of different things in the CC. And since nobody really pulls the CC anymore, I've always thought about how helpful it would be to go back to the days of pulling the clan castle, pulling the CC, pulling to the side, doing whatever to kill it. But when you're facing a max Town Hall 9, that's such a time suck. And that's really the issue with pulling the CC. I mean, you could spend 45 seconds a minute pulling the CC and killing it. Then all of a sudden you don't have enough time for the rest of the base in order to pull it off if
It,
they have a
it,
well-designed base.
exactly. With all the extra hit points that they've added to all the buildings, you kind of need almost every second now. It's just crazy. Before you would have
Yeah,
a hog attack or something where you'd have almost a minute left over. Now you're barely making it.
What also comes to current base design too. People aren't putting the queen centralized anymore. When back when you were pulling CCs and killing it, you were facing centralized queen. With the centralized queen, you could attack from any angle. Any angle will allow you to disable double bombs and move on your way. But with the way base design goes now, don't have centralized queen. So you can't kill the CC anywhere you want like you could in the old days. If you want to pull the CC, you have to pull it to a place where your kill squad effectively throughout the rest of your raid. Uh, and now with the non-centralized queen, pull it to that side, which may not be the best side. So pulling CCs are pretty much dead, which makes mixing up your clan castle so much easier when you're defending.
Well, the only excuse for pulling a clan castle is like you said before, the hound, where you can pull it over to the side and keep it distracted or something.
Or if it's a really easy CC to lure.
Yeah.
If you get one of those, well, that puts a CC that you can pull it with two barbs, like, hey, why the hell not?
Yeah.
But I can't even tell you the last time I saw one of those.
Acura Holem. That's what's coming out of ClashCon. That's the new thing coming out of ClashCon. It's a
That's
it's
the
a
new
hog
trick right
golem.
there.
It's a hog golem.
That'd be interesting. A giant stoned hog that comes out and splits off a bunch of little mini hog riders.
Yeah. Speaking of ClashCon, what what do you think is going to be the big thing to come out of ClashCon?
Uh, See, I'm one of those guys that thinks Town Hall 11's coming. Um, I think the table's kind of been set for upgrade in everything. I think, well, all right, first off, if they do Town Hall 11, I think they're going to upgrade a lot of the troops. They're going to upgrade, your hogs, your loons. I think they're going to add another dark troop that might even be like Town Hall 10 exclusive. Town Hall 10, Town Hall 11 exclusive troop. I think that's the only way you make Town Hall 11 viable because you upgrade the troops at Town Hall 10, make them open to Town Hall 11, makes Town Hall 10 easier, it makes Town Hall 10 the new Town Hall 9. I think that would be the only way a Town Hall 11 could come around. And I think that's kind of what they're gearing towards, personally.
I've been hearing people talk and stuff, and it seems like um, that if they go Town Hall 11, you're going to be really excluding. If that's the big thing that they're coming out with, they're going to exclude a lot of people from that.
Yeah.
That's the only downside of that. That's why I don't think it's going to be Town Hall 11. I think they might do it eventually, but I don't think that's going to come out of ClashCon. I think they're going to go to like these 5-on-5 little wars like they've been doing with the Tokyo Live and the Korean Live.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, though, how is that going to affect... They're talking about this affecting the community at large. How are the little 5-on-5s going to affect the Town Hall 7, Town Hall 8 community? Are they going to be setting up 5-on-5s with Town Hall 7s, Town Hall 8s? I'm not sure where that comes into play.
Well, don't you think, I mean, you've been in matchups and stuff, wouldn't it be a little easier to match up five players versus 30 players?
If you're talking full out arranged matchups between clans, sure, but the little 5-on-5s, I don't know. I just have a hard time seeing how that works for the lower end of the community. Your Town Hall 7s and lower.
Yeah.
I don't see how the 5-on-5s really work because Town Hall 7 and lower, you can 3-star with anything basically. So I don't know. There's so many speculations about it. I mean, we've all heard about the leaked code or whatever somebody found about clan alliances. That could be something very interesting to see what they do with that.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, to be able to talk about,
Yeah.
all your clans versus, but I mean, if you're like OneHive and the Clash Files family, we already have out of game communication, so it would be kind of redundant, I think, but it would be cool to do.
I don't think it would be redundant at all, really. I mean, you can take, say, all the clan families in the Clash Files and put them under one umbrella. Right now, you know that, okay, all of these clans are part of the Clash Files, but all of a sudden they're tagged as the Clash Files group of clans. And from what people are talking about, being able to donate between clans within the alliances through the alliance tab, from what people are speculating, that's pretty big. Because
Yeah, I mean, that would be different if you were like, I mean, that would definitely be helpful if you were trying to level up, your event clan or whatever, and you didn't have to, deal with those level 5 perks or what, with being without those level 5 perks or whatever.
yeah, exactly. But not just that. I mean, it from a standpoint of managing all those different clans, you're not concerned about a clan just kind of splitting off and doing its own thing because then they're going to lose the benefit of being part of the alliance. But that's again, pretty. I don't see how that's going to affect the community at large. And that's going to affect the people that have all those alliances already. You're not going to get some random clan that is going to join the Clash Files family because they want to be part of the alliance. You guys are going to vet them just like you would anybody else, and
Right.
it really wouldn't change your approach on it.
I thought I saw a question in chat. Looks like a lot of Town Hall 11 to talk.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't see anything. I can't see anything being a bigger game changer than Town Hall 11.
And I don't see them giving us Warren without heroes, so
That's never
being able
happen.
to war with our heroes down.
Yeah, that'll never happen. Whatever troll put that on Reddit that got the whole community a buzz with that letter from Supercell. Good for them, man. They photoshopped that thing pretty well, but there's no way that's ever gonna happen. And I forget who posted that first, but as soon as that was posted, everybody was talking about it. That'll never happen.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to see it happen, I can't see Supercell doing that.
I would never spend gems again. I would never buy gems if that existed.
Dr. J says Town Hall 9 would have access to freeze since Max 9s often bring in farm wars with double Inferno Rush Town Hall 10s.
That was something about
donating
spell
spells, right?
donation. Yeah. I forget where that came from. Somebody saw something in some sort of code that talked about being able to donate spells. That when I first heard that, I didn't even think about it until just now again. But I remember when I first heard that, that kind of lent me towards Town Hall 11 as well. Donate spells, like I'm wondering if that sort of thing was legit. I would think it would be a donate an extra spell to what you already have, because there's no way they're going to take away a spell,
Right.
force you to have a donation spell in your farming raids. That would never happen. So I'm thinking it would be an added spell that you could get from somebody. So if you can get a max freeze spell and you're hitting and you're a 9 hitting a 10, that would have to mean that there's a Town Hall 11 coming, because let's face it, you give a maxed out Town Hall 9 freeze spell, they're going to have a good shot at some Town Hall 10s.
Yeah,
Some lower level Town Hall 10s.
But wouldn't that create just playing devil's advocate here, wouldn't that kind of create the problem of the people that are sitting at max Town Hall 9 and are not pushing the button to go to Town Hall 10? If they could get that free spell to hit Town Hall 10s, wouldn't that kind of encourage them to stay there versus going up to become 10s and going up to become an 11?
Some of the guys that are Town Hall 9s, they're career Town Hall 9s. LB, you still in the chat there?
Oh, wow. Shots fired.
There, I understand why guys are staying at Town Hall 9, because the Town Hall 9 game is where the balance is. That's where the fun is. I made the jump because I wanted to take on that challenge at Town Hall 10. I did it for two reasons. One, the clan needed it. We needed 9.5s. We didn't have any. We need them. So did that. I wouldn't have done it if I didn't really want to try to take on the challenge of Town Hall 10. But yeah, if you give the 9s a freeze spell, they're going to be able to hit 10s. Or at least an extra spell on top of what they already have, and you give them the free spell donation. That leads me to believe that if that sort of thing was going to come true, there has to be a Town Hall 11 coming behind it. If you give, okay, let's say you throw a Town Hall 11 out there and you give the Town Hall 9s a shot to hit Town Hall 10s, well, the Town Hall 10s, they need something harder than that. You can't give the 9s chance to 3-star the 10s, and then 10s can't do anything. So something higher than that. So I would think if you can donate free spells to a Town Hall 9, then there has to be a Town Hall 11 coming. This is just another sign for me.
Okay, I get where you're coming from on that. If they do that, I could definitely see that happening.
There's
Okay.
so much speculation. I can't wait for a couple of weeks and we finally put all the speculation to bed. Just
It,
one little leak. One little leak would be nice.
yeah, and then when we look back and go, how could we even think that that was what was coming out?
Yeah, either that or somebody gets to talk a whole lot of crap that they got it right and nobody else did.
Yep,
Who's the Nostradamus in the group?
definitely not me. Otherwise, I'd be playing
Yeah,
Powerball a lot more. All right. Well, unless chat has any more questions for us, I'm gonna go ahead and think about shutting it down for the night. So I'm gonna give last call to the chat. If they've got any more questions out there, let's go ahead and hear them. And while we're waiting on that, Duce, what you got any one you want to buy around for tonight?
Yeah. I'll buy around for my old clan, Black Minion. They're still out there. I was leader there for a while I was Town Hall 8 before I learned all of the 3-star strats. Uh, Great group of guys. They're learning their 3-star strats. They're working hard at it. Um, if you're a guy looking for a good, they're not as hardcore as say somebody like OneHive, but they are war focused. They are working hard at learning the 3-star strategies. A lot of their guys are mid-level Town Hall 9 heroes, a lot of Town Hall 8s. Check them out if you're looking for a good group of guys that work hard. They got the group me channels going. They're planning. They're doing all the right things. They're working their way up, and they're looking to start arranging matchups, which is awesome. I'm glad to see that from them. I've been trying to help them, learn how to match weights. So, around all you guys at Black Minion, doing what you're doing and keep getting better.
And I'm gonna buy around for Tate from Saturday Night Hive. He was the one that put me in contact with you on GroupMe, so I want to buy around for him. And he was just recently on my show, and I really think he's a great guy. And I haven't got a chance to listen to his podcast. It's been sitting there on my phone waiting for me to listen to, and I'm just like, oh, I don't have time to do this right now.
You're killing Tate's numbers. Come on, man, get on that.
Yeah, but usually I listen to it 2 or 3 times, so I'll probably boost it. So my round goes out to Tate. So thank you, Tate. Okay, let's see here. Last question: are you a pineapple? Yes or no only. No, I'm not a pineapple.
Do you rather have $10 transferred to your bank account daily or cut off your left hand?
I thought it was
Wait.
$10,000. I thought it was $10,000.
$10,000 to your bank account daily or cut off your. So you're asking if I cut off my left hand or get nothing, or I get $10,000 a day? Yeah, I'll take $10,000 a day. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the money.
Yeah, you didn't phrase that one very well, buddy. Nice try.
And you can send the checks to.
You'd rather pay $100 and have your attractiveness doubled, win $10 million, your attractiveness halved. Take attractiveness halved. $10 million? Shit.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad looking already, so I'll take that.
$10 there, Austin. Yeah. Work on your questions there, Austin. Come on, bud.
Yeah, your question game isn't real good. I can see why you're just a regular war streamer. Sorry, Austin.
No,
I
just
had to
kid-
kick
just
you,
kidding,
man.
bud. We
Shots
love
fired,
you, buddy.
man.
Come on.
Shots
We love
fired.
you, Austin.
Just teasing, man. Okay, well, we're gonna call it a night here, and I want to thank you, Duche, for coming on tonight. It was great to have you on the show, and it's always great to check out the forums and to check out meet new people there. It's a great place to meet new clans and like-minded fair play community clans. So, actually, why don't you go ahead and give your forum another shout out there, and we'll get that out there one more time.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're a Fair Play clan and you're looking to set up some ranged matchups, come check it out. Fairplaycommunity.net. You set up your application. We're going to check out to make sure you're a legit clan. Make sure you're just not some troll out there. We're going to give you access to the forum. And from there, you can post what you have, town hall levels, what you're looking for, how many people you're looking for, and meet up with a bunch of other people that willing to match up with you. So again, it's fairplaycommunity.net. Check it out, and we'll get you set up.
All right, great. And I see Shag just posted the link there in the chat. So
Yep, Shaggy just put it up.
So, Jeff, definitely stop by, check them out. There's a lot of good stuff on there. They do post strats, and they do also have how to match up. I mean, a lot of good stuff on there if you're interested in doing matchups. So, definitely check them out. And once again, thanks everyone for coming out. And Duche, thank you again for coming on the show.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, everybody, have a good night.
Hey guys, see you.